Alright. Okay, hello. These always make me nervous. Welcome to a birthday Q&A chat. Hi thing. Hello. In case you weren't aware, my channel turned 1 year old at the end of June. And I also celebrated my birthday in the past month. So I know that the past few months have been a little shaky for me in terms of life and uploading, and you know, if you've been paying attention to my community tab, you know I've been struggling a little bit, but as always, things are slowly but surely getting better, and so I thought this would be a fun way to come back and reconnect and refocus and move into the next phase of the channel. So thank you all for contributing and for being here and for your comments and questions and support. You've all been so overwhelmingly and abundantly nice to me, just so kind and so supportive, and you are all so special and wonderful and lovely for that. This is sure to be a pretty long video. As always, there will be timestamps in the comments if you want to skip around to questions, because I'm sure nobody wants to hear me talk for like an hour straight. So yeah, let's just dive into it. Stone, as usual, starting with your comments or your questions, I guess, Mr. Stone. So we're starting with a question that a lot of people tend to be curious about, and that's what audio of yours is your favorite. And the two that come to mind are, and I think I've said this before, Gwen the Vampire, her part 1. I'm really proud of. I really like how it came together. And then surprisingly, the Jock's 7 Minutes in Heaven video. I ended up really loving that character and like who she revealed herself to be, I guess, because I wasn't really sure like who she was I guess at first, but yeah, I think she ended up being a character that feels very like authentic and very endearing and very lovable, and I'm just really happy with her. I love her a lot. Let's see. Second question. Do you actually enjoy interacting with your community? Yeah, I do. I do enjoy it a lot. I think it's like my favorite thing about having a channel. You guys you're fun and you're funny and you're supportive, and you know, I appreciate you all being here. I think sometimes I worry a little bit that how do I say this? That if I interact like too much, or I put too much of like myself out there, that it's going to distract from the content, because I want to make sure you guys are always like feeling immersed in the content. Like when you listen to the audios, I want you to hear the characters and not just me, you know? So as much as I enjoy it, sometimes I worry that I should be more mysterious or something. What's your favorite outdoor activity? Maybe swimming. I love swimming. What kind of exotic animal would you like to own? Mine is capuchin monkey. A capuchin monkey sounds terrifying to own. I'm not a monkey person. Let's see. I don't know if I would call it exotic, but I'm obsessed with muntjacs. I can't explain it. I think they're really cool, and apparently they're legal to own. So now I want one. So now I want one really bad. And it's probably not a good idea, but I want it. What is your go-to musical choice or top 5 band/artists? I think like my go-to musical genre is just anything that's sort of like rock, alt, you know, emo type of shit. If it sounds like shit that was recorded in a garage, I probably like it. I like dirtbag music. And what made you decide on a goblin as your mascot? I can't remember like what started the goblin thing. I know it came from like, I think a friend of mine teasing me about like that I'm just naturally very goblin-like. You guys know I'm short. I'm a tomboy, kind of an asshole, a little bit chaotic. So, no, I definitely embody like the goblin spirit in my day-to-day life as well. And so when it came time to think about like the branding of the channel, I guess I was really excited to use the Baby Battle Axe name, and it just felt perfect, you know, like appropriate for the face of Baby to be a goblin. Let's see, Laughingstock asked, is your birthday this week? It was, obviously I'm not going to say when my like actual birthday is, but I will say it is in Cancer season. So that gives you a time frame. Also, what's your top favorite animated movies? Let me think about that for a second. Okay, in no particular order, I would say Kiki's Delivery Service, Megamind, Kubo, Isle of Dogs, and that was well timed. Maybe like The Road to El Dorado. I think that's one of those movies that I could just watch like anytime. You know, it's just enjoyable. So that's probably one of them. Kale, hi Kale. What's your favorite restaurant or place to eat out to? It is, let me think. Oh, yep, I know what it is. It is without getting too specific, it's a small vegan restaurant, which I know sounds like super pretentious, but it's run by like just one older woman, and she's known me since I was like a wee baby, because my older brother used to take me there. And so I feel like I've grown up with her, and every time I go eat there, she knows exactly what I'm gonna order. And then she's like a grandma, because she's always like, well, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want me to make you this? Here, I'll make you this. And she cooks me like 7 extra things. So that's my favorite place to be. It's just pure like happiness there. And then your favorite games to play: board games, video games, or card games? Okay, so I am a big like game fan. I love video games, I love board games, I love card games. I'm very, very dorky in that way. Okay, so somebody recently introduced me to the board game Run Fighter Die, which is like zombie themed, and I loved it. I thought it was super fun. So that's a big one right now. In terms of video games, I'm not playing anything big right now just because I haven't really had the energy to invest in anything huge. So I'm playing a couple cozy games, playing Halo, and this maybe I'll keep it a secret because I've been thinking about doing something with this. But in terms of all-time favorites, let's see. Munchkin is one of my favorite board games. There's a lesser known card game, like I've never met anyone else who knew about it, but it's a card game called Lunch Money that's really violent and fun. Video games, I always love playing Halo. I always love playing Fallout New Vegas. Bioshock, I could like replay Bioshock over and over again for the rest of my life. And have you decided where the next Gobbo Cult hideout will be? I'm afraid in your absence the last one got a bit burned. Well, that is disappointing to hear. I do have good news. We've been working very hard on the Gobbo Cult Castle, which you can access over on my Patreon, being that every tier on Patreon gets access to my Discord, which is called the Hidden Gobbo Castle, and there's plenty of rooms and activities to explore now. Black Comet, hiya Black Comet. A lighthearted question: which world's depiction of goblins is your favorite, and which is your least favorite? I think somebody's asked me this before, and it's kind of a hard question because I feel like nobody portrays goblins like the way that I do or the way that I envision them. So I think the answer that I came up with last time is my favorite like depiction of goblins tends to be from memes. Like I love the like goblin head pat kind of memes. And in terms of least favorite, it's hard to say least favorite because when I think of like famous depictions of goblins, whether it's in like high fantasy or anime or whatever, even though they're not the type of goblins that like I would want to be, they make sense for the universe, they make sense for the story, and so I can't really get too mad at them. I still respect the artistry and the creation. Oh, and as for your I know you had a couple questions and I'm gonna get to all of them, but your request for the definition of insanity monologue that's kind of a big ask. I don't know if I have that in me right now. That might be like a commission situation. Okay. Dan asked, what's your best childhood memory? Bold of you to assume I had a happy childhood. Let me think. There was I think I've talked about this before. There was like one of those indoor like party amusement park places kind of thing in my town growing up, and it was just like really over the top and really like crazy how full of stuff it was, but I remember as a kid that was like my favorite place in the world. I had so much fun at the arcade and like climbing all over shit that probably wasn't safe for children to be on. But things like that, like I loved going to the park. I loved going to museums, just visiting places where I could like have fun and interact with things was when I was happiest as a kid, I think. Happy birthday week. Thank you, Lord Spider. I'm curious, what's the best birthday present you've ever received? It took me a second to think of this, and I don't know if it's like the best thing I've ever gotten, but it was very meaningful to me because it was very personal, and just like a gift that only I could like, and it's a really stupid hat with something like very, very specific to one of my niche interests on it, and my best friend got it for me I think last year for my birthday, and I just like I was like hysterically laughing for like 5 minutes. But yeah, it's a little too specific, so I won't say exactly what it is, but it's just the most cursed hat. That's my favorite. That's my favorite birthday present, at least the one that's coming to mind right now. Let's see. Alpha Akama Kaze VT. I hope that was right. Your question is, are we getting more Tomboy X Neko listener audios? I might revisit them. I do consider like their overall story wrapped up. But I might throw in a couple like special episodes of domestic bliss for them. But in terms of like continuing the series, I feel good about like where it ended, and I don't want to like, I don't ever want to compromise like the quality of continuation or sequels by like forcing myself to make more audios around characters when I'm not necessarily feeling like inspired to take them further or in certain directions. As much as I want you guys to like be happy and get what you want here, yeah, I just, unfortunately, I can't make sequels for every single character because there are some stories and some characters that I want to leave where they are, that it feels right to me sometimes. But no, B and the Neko listener are two that I think will always have a place on this channel. See, Mr. Vesper said, "Hi, love. Hello. Really enjoy your content, and I hope you're doing all right." Oh, thank you so much. That is very sweet. The thing Healy from Halo asked, "Do you believe in tomboy supremacy?" Of course I do. Absolutely. And I hope the thing Healy do as well. I'm a big fan. Hot Soup asked, who would win, a goblin or a very big bowling ball? I think that depends on what the competition is, you know? what are we competing to do? Either way, the goblin wins, duh. Ermac 404, hello Gobbo leader, hello. Hope you are doing well. I am, thank you. I hope you are too. And a happy birthday to you. Thank you. Question, if you watch any of the Spider-Man films, which Spider-Man movie or actor is your favorite? I could talk about this for a long time. This is tough. This is tough to answer because I feel really strongly about, like, because my thing with Spider-Man is if you're like depicting Spider-Man, if you're playing Spider-Man, there's a really big difference between like Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and I think that's one of the really special things about like the growth and journey of his character. But you know, just with how Marvel interprets things now, he's become very like quippy and sassy, and like he's not Peter, that isn't really like the nerd that I feel he was originally written as in the comics, like what I'm familiar with growing up with. So because of that, I do have to go with the Sam Raimi Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies as my favorite. I think he was the best Peter Parker. I don't know if he was the best Spider-Man, but for me, I think I like respect that one more because his Peter Parker was more like what I wanted it to be. Detea, you still haven't told me if I'm saying your name right. I enjoy these questions though. What's your favorite kind of cake? I love cake. I love cake so much, and it's I think it's a tie between there's a strawberry shortcake cheesecake from Junior's in New York that the first time I tasted it, I almost started crying because it was so good. But on the other spectrum of like quality, at least, I think I've said this before too, shitty, like old, slightly stale buttercream birthday cake from a grocery store, you know, just like total shit quality. That's wonderful cake to me. That's like an ideal cake. Thoughts on carrot cake if you've had it before? I don't hate it, but it's not what I'm reaching for. And what do you usually do for birthdays, your own and for others? For my birthday, I desperately try to ignore it, and my friends don't let me, and it usually doesn't go well. I kind of have cursed birthdays. So for my birthday, I don't know, if I'm hanging out with other people, I usually just want to like play games and get food. That's simple enough for me. And for other people's birthdays, gift giving is like probably my primary love language. I love like getting people really thoughtful or, you know, personal or just fun gifts. So I usually kind of go over the top for other people's birthdays. I'm gonna call you Mixer because I think that's how you're supposed to say your name. How do I contact invincible Cthulhu monster residing in the depths of the Atlantic Ocean? So unfortunately, Cthulhu and I recently had a falling out, so we're not currently in touch with each other. But if you do find him, no, you know, actually don't mention me. I need to grow the cult a little bigger before I think I face him again. Okay, Bingus Real. You can't keep doing this to me, Black Axon. You can't keep changing your name. You're gonna make me think I'm crazy. But Bingus Real and Dana, I think it's Dana Gallegos. I don't understand. I don't understand the Among Us thing. And no, I will not answer it. I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready to talk about Among Us yet. Much like Cthulhu. There's too much history with me in Among Us. Hi, Jaeger. The Moth Queen doesn't want you to know this, but the goblins at the pyre are free. You can take them home. I have 114 goblins in my bed. Jaeger, we have talked about this. You cannot keep that many goblins in your house. They are going to eat you. Please bring them back. Also, don't tell me you're proud of me because I will start crying. You guys aren't the only ones with mommy issues, okay? Lol Gaming GG. You are asking if I drink Prime Hydration drink. No, I only drink Gobbo Brain Soup. Fleepin' Flappin', hi! I'm glad you love the content so far. I've been looking forward to your new question. If you had to say grapes in a silly way for the rest of your life, would you rather say grapes or I'm gonna see, you said this is supposed to be posh sounding, but when I read it, I went Spanish, so I read it as would you rather say grapes or grapes? And I'm fine with both, honestly. I feel like I could get away with saying grapes. I'm tiny and cute, so it's just it's within my balance of cute and cringe. I think I could get away with saying grapes.
Or I could just fully revert to my uwu gamer girl voice. Grapes. Got any grapes?
Yeah, I agree. Another classic, absolutely. Let's see. I'm gonna assume this name is 9000, which is really fun. It said, hey mommy, one idea for a topic is maybe your experience with personal health and fitness. Example, have you been working out? If so, what sort of exercises? So talking about like exercise and health here, if that isn't a comfy topic for you, feel free to skip. I've been like all over the place in terms of like my experience with personal health and fitness. I've really struggled with things like my relationship with food, my relationship with my body, eating, exercising, you know, all of those things are really difficult to navigate, I think, for most of us. So I would say my experience has been, again, all over the place, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to not be perfect, and it's okay to struggle. And I would say in terms of like the first time I ever like really seriously set foot in a gym to start lifting to where I'm at now, which is I work out about like 3 to 5 days a week. I lift weights. I'm trying to be a muscle gobbo mommy. So yeah, I'm in a pretty good place now. Like, I'm really proud of myself for eating the way I need to be to keep my body like feeling good and running good. I've overcome a lot of my gym anxiety. I'm at least able to show up now, even if I'm still nervous about being there. I had to take a break from the gym for like 2 months just because I wasn't feeling well, so I'm getting back into it now, and it's slow but steady progress. It's definitely hard when you're going from like being in a really good place, and I was really liking the progress that I was making, to kind of losing most of it because I was out of the gym for so long. But I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting my body. I'm doing what I can to take care of it, and I will say that it's helped me so much between eating more balanced meals and making sure I'm getting proper nutrition and drinking more water and getting more active. Like, it has greatly improved my mental health. Lord Spider, what's the dream for the channel? More of the same, or is there something different in mind? Well, I mean, I think like anyone who gets on YouTube, the ultimate dream is like if I was a super successful channel with a lot of people enjoying my audios and getting better quality and honing my craft and really feeling like a professional at this, that would be my dream. But in terms of like what I'm working on, what I'm building, I think it is somewhat more of the same. And I can talk about this a little later in the video when I go over some other channel stuff. But you guys know me. I love storytelling. I love stories. I love characters. I love romance, obviously. So yeah, I'm excited to keep coming up with like interesting ideas and worlds, and making new series and diving into things like more fantasy and science fiction, and just, you know, trying to keep everything interesting and exciting and exploring new worlds and, you know, stuff like that's really fun to me. So just more, you know, more. I want to do more and I want to do better. And in terms of something different, I don't think anything too different than what I'm already doing. Maybe introducing some new fun things like streaming or gaming or some unscripted content maybe from Brave Enough. And then I have a couple secrets that I'm working on. I talk about them a little bit with the Goblin Council on Patreon, but I'm really hoping that as I'm getting my feet back under me and building my momentum and energy and endurance to get back into content creating, that those projects will be coming out in the next few months, and I really hope people like them. I'm excited about them. Hi, Baby Battleaxe. Hi, Samuel. Hope you are well. Thank you. My questions for you. What inspired you to do ASMR? Fucking accent. ASMR. What inspired you to do ASMR/audio stories? So I feel like I tell this story a lot in all of my Q&As, but I randomly stumbled upon Boyfriend Audios first a couple years ago, and, you know, enjoyed them for all the same reasons that we tend to enjoy audios, right? And I just started thinking like this could be a really great outlet for me to finally bring some of these stories that I've had in my head for so long to life, because I'm not really a creative writer and I'm not very artistic in many ways. You know, I don't have a ton of natural artistic ability or talent or skill. So I've always created like stories and characters, but I've never really done anything with them just because I don't really enjoy sitting down and trying to write like a novel. So I started getting into more of the audios, I think, that are a little similar to what I do, and that they're not just straightforward like, oh, you know, cuddling with your girlfriend kind of thing, but something a little more complex, like a spoiled princess freeing you from prison. So yeah, I wanted to do this as a way to put my characters out there and finally be able to have a creation that lived not just in my head. Is there an ASMR audio artist? I can't talk. Is there an artist that you take inspiration from? I feel kind of embarrassed mentioning it, but Redacted, I say that a lot, I think, but Redacted Audio, I think is just so talented, and the storyline and the world and the characters and all of them interacting with each other, like, it's such brilliant writing to have so many characters in one universe and interconnecting storylines and so many different listener characters because of that within the universe, and still manage to make them feel, every relationship feels unique and special, and every character feels unique and special and you know, attractive in a different way. So just the creativity around everything, around, you know, the writing and the visuals and the art and the merch, like, just so cool to me. So cool. I really, really admire everything about Redacted's work. My personal favorite ASMR or audio to do or listen to, I think like confessions are my favorite to do. I find them super romantic, and so they might also be my favorite to listen to. I love like friends to lovers, or like rivals to lovers. Maybe not enemies to lovers, but rivals. I think is a little less intense. Yeah, I really like listening to those because they're just dramatic and silly. But no, best friend confession, I think, is just like, it hits everything I needed to. And if you could collaborate with any artist, who would your top 5 be? I'm kind of too shy, I think, to collab. The thought of it makes me nervous, so I haven't really thought of like what artists I would want to collab with. Like I said, I think I would be too nervous. Let's see what else. Oh, Black Comet also asked, have you thought of doing an interactive live ASMR roleplay? That does sound like a really fun idea, and I have done something kind of similar on my Patreon, or no, on my Discord. On my Discord, we played a little game where everybody like contributed to a script, and I made an audio out of it. Dan Gaming Fan. I already answered your first 2 questions, which is what made you decide to do ASMR and what's your favorite video that you've done. And your third question is, what's the hardest decision you've ever had to make? I think it was probably accepting that I needed to have more boundaries with some people. Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard thing to do, especially when you're, the type of person who doesn't like conflict or like doesn't like upsetting people or hurting people. It can be really hard to say like, this is not a good relationship for me, and even though it's going to like make you upset that I am like holding these boundaries or getting this space from you, I can't like feel guilty about that. I do need to do what's best for me, and that was a really like long, difficult process to not just accept but start enacting. But it has been helpful. But I had a lot of like guilt and insecurity to kind of overcome to get to that point. Is it Adel the V? At alt the V. Fuck, I should have put my glasses on. And you just asked, why are you so sweet? Thank you. I am so sweet because you deserve it. So this ended up being really, really long, and there are 2 more questions, or I think 3 more questions that I want to get to, but they're kind of, how do I say this? They're very in-depth questions that I'm going to be answering pretty thoughtfully because I do have a lot of thoughts on this, but they are going to cover some very adult topics. So for the sake of keeping this brief, keeping some of that discussion off of YouTube and giving people the option to not listen to those questions if it might be something they're not comfortable hearing, I am putting a part 2 to this Q&A on my Patreon. It is not going to be for patrons, it's going to be public. So even if you're not subscribed to my Patreon, if you visit my page, you'll be able to listen to the continuation. And the questions that we're going to be covering there are related to ASMR role plays and the genre as a whole, and kind of some of the like uglier parts of it, the parts that maybe aren't positive or aren't helpful or maybe not even good or healthy or safe for people, and how I kind of navigate that as a creator. And then a second question that was more specifically about expanding into adult content, which is something that a lot of people in ASMR do. And I did want to speak to that really briefly, just in case somebody does have questions for it or about it and doesn't feel comfortable going to Patreon. So I have decided against making like explicit adult content, and I think you guys probably know what I mean by that. And I don't, I don't hold any like resentment towards creators that do decide to do that. I think there's a lot of reasons that people make that content that's more than just, trying to make more money. Some people just enjoy it. Some people have a lot of fun doing it, and I get that. It is fun content, but when I thought about it more, and I thought about all of the things that I had like been noticing and hearing and watching about people's experience with adult content of like any kind, and the effects that it can have on them, I just didn't feel comfortable contributing to that. I don't think that the people who make adult content are like bad people, by any means, but it's just like, I was thinking that if one person who is struggling or has been negatively affected by adult content, is consuming my adult content and it is like harming them, I don't want to contribute to that. I don't want to ever hurt someone or contribute to something that isn't healthy for a person, and just adding more of that, like, temptation isn't the right word, but just more of that like saturation and accessibility for adult content. I didn't feel like I needed to add more to it, So no, I will not be making explicit adult audios. However, I do have a Patreon that is 18 plus. Somebody also asked if my content is 18 plus, and it is. And what that content looks like is it's not, it's not explicit, like I said, but it does discuss adult themes. So things like sex are mentioned. There is no presence of it in the actual audio or the role play, but it's talked about with characters. The audios are spicy. The way I would describe those audios is spicy but not explicit. So I don't have, like, how do I say this? My audios, they might talk about sex or like topics related to sex, and like I said, they might get a little spicy, but there is no like explicit depictions of that in the audios themselves. Same with my Discord. My Discord doesn't have any nudity or pornography in it. We have some adult memes, and we have like playful conversations. Because like I said, I just kind of wanted to provide a sort of reprieve from that, of just constantly being like inundated with overtly sexual. So if you have been interested in my Patreon and you're over 18, you can head over there, listen to the second part of this, and maybe scroll through some of the other audios that I've been posting, see if anything piques your interest, and maybe subscribe next month for a little bit to try things out. I will greatly appreciate you being there, and I really hope you enjoy all of the content that I've been working on over there. It's been really fun to explore those scenarios too. I've been having fun, and I've gotten good feedback on it, so I'm glad to hear that my patrons are enjoying it as well. I want to say thank you to everyone who's around, you know, who's been here, who's commented and subscribed and liked. I've just been in such shock at watching, you know, my numbers continue to improve, even though I haven't been uploading consistently. It's been really amazing to see new people finding the channel and leaving, you know, just such wonderful comments. It really does help me get through the hard days. So I am so grateful for all of you. I'm grateful to my patrons for you guys, you know, being there and wanting to support me financially. That's a huge gift, you know, and a huge gesture that I don't take lightly. I appreciate everything that you guys share with me. You're under no obligation to leave as much kindness as you do, but you choose to anyway. And I appreciate that. I respect that. And I love that. And I hope you are as kind to yourselves, because you absolutely deserve it. So please be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. And just know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm really looking forward to whatever the future holds, you know, whatever the future of my channel is. I'm just happy for every day that I've experienced so far. It's been an adventure. It's been new and exciting and something I never thought I would accomplish. So, in spite of everything, it was a good birthday. And I appreciate anyone who is still listening. And with that, I will say goodbye.